Do I give in and forgive my mother or stand my ground? For anyone who wants updates, follow me, and when anhthing happens, I'll post about it. 4 years ago I moved out of my hometown. I have had no contact with my mother for probably 3. Recently my sister reached out to me telling me I had to forgive our mother, saying weird things that almost made me wonder if it was just our mother. I of course told her that I am not having that conversation with her because she is 12 and I am not bringing her into it. About 3 weeks before I moved, my mother informed me that she was finding a new place with her abusive boyfriend, which put me into a panic because I hadn't told her something, but her best friend helped me write an email to send to her. I was too scared to text it. I told her that her boyfriend had more than once touched me inappropriately and explained it all to her. After a weekend of nothing, I finally texted her asking if she saw my email. She told me she saw it, and we would talk about it when they got home. She wanted the 3 of us to have a conversation about what happened, and told me she needed his side of the story first. She told me she has been through worse and it wasn't a big deal. I called her friend crying and moved out for 2 weeks. My mother begged me to come back and I did when she promised me he wouldn't come around. They broke up and she moved into the new place without him. Within 3 hours of me being home she brought him around, and justified it by saying he didn't come inside so it was fine. She hasn't apologized to me properly, but her apologies mean nothing considering last I heard, Thanksgiving, they were still living together, to which my grandmother justified with, well, they aren't dating. Again, I have a little sister who I am terrified for. Basically none of my family is on my side. They agree what happened is messed up, but they have been pressuring me to forgive my mother for completely breaking my heart. I've told them over and over that I won't even speak to her if that man is in her life, but now I think it's too late. It's been 4 years. So now I tell them that, it is too late, I will not forgive her. But my family thinks the basic, she's your mother, you have to forgive her, but I don't think I will ever be able to get over the complete disregard for me, and for my siblings and their safety. Their words get to me. I've struggled to stand my ground for the 3 years. I've let my grandmother yell at me for not forgiving my mother, and my sister made me feel awful. It's hard to not doubt myself on this. I don't think I could ever actually forgive her because she absolutely broke my heart. But do I need to make them listen to me? Or give up? Note: her boyfriend hates kids and bullies my siblings, tearing them down all the time and yelling at them for being kids. He's a massive drunk and has driven around drunk with them in the car. He has sought charges against him already from others, and he made my BSF at the time and my mother's BSF uncomfortable too, in that regard. One last thing I'll add. When he was informed of what I had said, the first thing he said to my mother was asking her if I was going to the police. That is all he cared about. So he knows he fucked up. They sound very toxic, especially your mother. Be there for your siblings if they allow or want you to, but stand your ground with your mother. Sometimes the best thing is to move on, kinda like you did, and continue to do so. Just because she's your mom doesn't mean you have to forgive her like they're telling you. No, you do not have to forgive your mother just because she's your mother. A good mother is selfless and puts her children first. Those children, your siblings, are in danger and CPS should be contacted. Please seek some therapy if you haven't already, as this can help you heal. Cut them off and find people who actually love you. Yes, even your sister and grandmother. Your sister will see eventually what's going on. Your grandma, on the other hand, just sounds toxic. Cut the whole family off and replace them with people who care about your well-being and safety. I hate that. She's your mother, so you like no, shut the hell up. Sounds really messed up. I say stand your ground. And cut off communication with anyone who's not listening to your side or who doesn't care. Stand your ground. Never speak to any of your family ever again, including sister and grandmother. Anyone who pressures you into reconciling with this evil couple of mum plus bastard face. None of them have your interests at heart. They just want the illusion of respectability and normality, and they are prepared to sacrifice you and your mental health for their own pointless, trivial, selfish, delusional purposes. Why are you in contact with any of this side of the family? They all sound like toxic jerks. I recommend complete NC, and I bet your life gets easier. Call CPS to check on your siblings. You need to call CPS. Those kids are not safe with him. Keep trying until someone listens. Make noise. Make it impossible for them to ignore you. I got naked in a guy's room after a date and the response has me confused. Hey guys, so I'm kinda confused after last night. Let me set the scene. This guy, 25M, and I, 24F, have been flirting for a while. He's a regular at the place I worked at, and when I gave my 2 weeks I asked for his number. I should note that I never do this to regulars or customers otherwise, but we had been flirting every time he came in, and he gave me his number and said he'd been trying to ask me the last few times for it, so yay, right? On to the date. We met up for cocktails, not dinner, since we both had plans before then. I ordered the first round and we got to talking. To be honest, it was going pretty well. He was catching most if not all of my jokes, and he was pretty interesting, not to mention cute. We did hit a snag near the end where he mentioned being FWB with a 6, but she was a freak, which came off as a tad misogynistic. I also jokingly called him on it, and he said that he didn't appreciate feeling judged. So I apologized and backtracked, which looking back I don't know if I should have, but I was a few drinks in and also, to be honest, horny. On to the issue, I was pretty forward about what I wanted from the date. He got nudes, we talked a little about kinky-ish, and he lived pretty close to the bar he picked, so I offered to walk him home, while legitimately winking. At this point I was like, okay, yay, let's go. This was also 4-5 cocktails each after we got there. So we walk to his place and he immediately leads me to his room. I'm ready to go, so I start undressing and tell him to lie down and take your pants off, because ya know, oral. He's having a bit of trouble getting hard, so I help, but as soon as we stop to get the condom on he goes soft again. At this point I'm like, oh no. So I give him a moment and use his bathroom. And ya know when you're drunk and you have like a small convo with yourself in the mirror? It was one of those, and Mirror Me was like, hey, you're drunk, he has whiskey dick, get a cab home. So I go back to his room and I'm like, hey, I gotta go, and I start getting dressed. We have a small conversation about how he's taking a weed break, and is on some medication that's affecting his libido. I'm like, totally valid, but also it's late, plus this conversation was getting a little heavy for a first date. So I called my cab and then went home. On the way home he apologizes through text, but with an apology that's really blaming me. To paraphrase, sorry but I'm not used to girls who are so forward. And I send back, I think you took my sexuality as a challenge, instead of something fun. But no worries, I'm in the Uber home, talk to you tomorrow, with a cute emoji so he knows I'm not mad. Then he continues to text me, saying that he tried to convey that he wasn't into me like that on the walkover, which to be honest I don't remember him saying anything like that at all, and then that he wasn't the one to walk straight into my room and start undressing. I responded with an apology, but also texted him that like you could have not invited me up when I was being super forward with my wants, and you could have asked me to stop and I totally would have. Again, he's super cute and I thought maybe dating material, so I would have been more than happy to just cuddle, talk, and get my rocks off once I was home. I told him that he was making me feel like a pervert, and I apologized again if it seemed like I was forcing myself on him. Then he accused me of playing mind games, and I was honestly so confused as to where that came from, and I decided to stop the conversation there because it was getting weird. I told him to get some good sleep, and he sent me another message wishing me all the best. Here's where I messed up. I texted him in the morning like, "Hi, I'm sober," and apologizing for the lack of communication last night. He texted me back that he appreciated the apology, but was uncomfortable, and needed time to process, and regroup and collect his thoughts. You see, I chalked it up to, we were both drunk, I came on too strong and he had whiskey dick, okay, no biggie. But he's wording this like I assaulted him. And from my perspective that really isn't the case. But did I? Like, did I royally fuck up? I'm legitimately confused. He still wants to meet up when he gets back from vacation, which I don't understand if I messed with him that badly. Part of me wants to apologize again, another part wants to tell him to pound sand. This is so confusing, can you guys help me make sense of this? Dude is just embarrassed he couldn't get it up. Some insecurity and deflecting shit there. He's the one manipulating and turning the whole thing on you because of one very simple fact. He's insecure over getting soft. The more complicated the whole thing gets, the less attention his softness gets. Which apparently you're to blame for as well, like come on. Now, I will say, if you're interested in a guy as in possible dating material, then maybe going home when he goes soft might not be the best way to handle it. In any case, as I said before, the shitshow that came afterwards is just weird on his part, so you might have very well dodged a bullet here. P.S. I just remembered the 6 but a freak part, yikes. I don't care how cute he is, he sounds like an asshole, bad lay and nutcase. He sounds like a gaslighting misogynist who wants to turn the tables on you to get over his embarrassment for not getting hard. Also lol at the, I don't appreciate being judged, after judging a woman as a 6 and a freak. Pick your standards up, girl. He blatantly told you he sees women as what they can offer him with the 6 and freak remark. He's embarrassed because his winky didn't work. Didn't like the feeling that you were so forward because he likes being the controlling one. Send him a worm gif that looks sad and floppy and then block his number. Hell no. Based off his sexist comment, he sounds like a misogynist that couldn't get it up because he doesn't like women to be in control and in charge of their sexuality. I'm calling bullshit that he wasn't into like that, because he admitted he had been wanting your number and knew exactly what you were after. He could have said something when you sent nudes if he wasn't into you. He sounds like a manipulative weirdo. I'd just block him and find a better guy. Guy here. You're good. Dude is just super insecure and refuses to own up to it. Zero chance he didn't know what was up. He honestly sounds like a bit of a fuckboy. Couldn't get it up. Mad about it. Is now trying to make you feel bad. Lose his number. Wife cheating through FaceTime. Hey guys. My wife was caught cheating through FaceTime. She was masturbating for him when he called, or she would be naked. I found out because he was secretly screen record when they would FaceTime. His wife found all the videos and pictures and communication and confronted my wife. 2 months later she called me and sent me many of the communication. I confronted my wife and she acted like she didn't have nothing to say. But claims they never had sex. I tried to stay with her, go to counseling and all that good stuff, and I still can't get over it. What should I do? Lawyer up and leave? Divorce? Why waste money on counseling? Just dump her. She's not worth your time and money. Fuck his wife? I mean, he doesn't want a man shrugging medium light skin tone. Divorce. She will only do it again if you don't. Even if they never had sex, this is still cheating. She isn't happy in her marriage and now neither are you. Best thing to do would be to divorce and live your own life. Do what makes you happy. If her first response was, they never had sex, they definitely had sex. She's trying to get the big ideas out of your head early so she can only be accused of everything else that won't seem as bad. She's a cheater, she's a manipulator, she's a liar, and she doesn't have any respect for you. She didn't even tell you. The other wife had to tell you, and then your wife was still trying to play dumb. She's checked out the relationship and is looking for your replacement. Ask her about it and I bet she tells you she hasn't been happy for like the past 2 years. Tried to stay with her, lol. Any person who stays with someone after doing what your wife did has a low opinion of themselves. People who value themselves will never tolerate this. You don't try to stay with her, you leave. The fact that she wants another man looking at her intimately is enough. She desires him and undervalues you. Move on, man. Boyfriend felt hurt and disrespected, shocked to see me in a sorry. I am a professional, work in an international organization. Driving back from office I was on a video call with my BF, who simply felt disrespected and hurt to see me in a sleeveless blouse and sari. After 2 minutes he dropped the call, saying he can't take it anymore. Hurts him to imagine coworkers seeing me like that. I couldn't not understand the like that comment. I have always been careful about dressing as per the environment. When we talked, I was again told it would have been so embarrassing for him if I was seen like that by his family or friends. The word vulgar was used. Being a working woman, my family has never objected or raised a concern of my dressing. Neither did I see any awkward looks by my colleagues. I feel hurt, and reduced to just a very small insignificant piece of flesh. Why do men do this? And what is their ego, pride that gets affected by a woman's dressing? Somehow it has left me mentally disturbed. This man even worth living life with in future? Calls himself a conservative. But that is only to control my dressing. There's always this moral policing he has to do. I used to ignore. But now I can't. I'm so sorry, but yeah, that sounds like it's time to leave. That's awful and I'm sorry you've had to put up with that. You can wear whatever you like. Dump his ass. You had your arms out? This is a man who will be a terrible father. The answer is no. Anyone who would berate you like that for a totally innocuous choice in dress is not worth living life with in the future. Calling oneself a conservative to cover up controlling behavior and misogyny is another red flag. You'll be happier without him. You don't have to put up with that. If he can't deal with the way you dress, then I think it's time for a new boyfriend. I would end it. You realize that this means whenever he sees any other professional women who dress like you, he is likely lusting after them and their arms. Lol. Unless you want a future of being controlled and shamed and insulted simply for being a normal woman, I don't think he's the right guy for you. You and him do not have the same values. As an Indian woman whose first boyfriend constantly commented on my body and how he preferred me in ethnic attire, run for the hills. Dump this one. There are enough Indian men out there who have literally zero fucks to give about how a woman dresses, behaves or whatever. Men like him are the reason a woman is reduced to an object that has to be controlled by other men in a family. Also, don't give yourself a hard time about this. It's all on him. But it's on you to cut our toxic people like this out of your life. He's the one judging you for something this basic, and do you want to build a life with a person this closed-minded? The hypocrisy and misogyny of such men is beyond any expressions I can use. Cut him loose. Your boyfriend just gave you a peek into how he thinks. His mind is the one creating this situation. He's projecting. Now you know how he sees any woman in a sari. Is this the kind of person you want to tie yourself to? Dude. You're dating Amitabh Bachchan from K3G. Bigot plus misogynist plus all-around asshole. You need to find a good guy who will support you.